Hey there, it's Stephen here yet again on the YouTube channel. I have a very special guest today for a business that honestly I'm super impressed by. We were introduced through a mutual friend, and what's very funny is this friend is in California, but yet this business is about 12 minutes from my house, and really astonishing the stuff that these guys are doing. It's a lot that I was trying to do on my own. Now I have met someone that of course, am introducing to all you folks that has not only, in my opinion, figured something out that I don't think anyone else in the country has figured out, but has made my job and a lot of other people's jobs a lot easier to work with seniors and with families going through a very difficult stage in their life. So, Matt, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your business and tell us a little bit about what you do, we'll get started.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. I'm happy to be here. So yeah, Matt Van Drimmelen. I'm with Full-Circle Aftercare, and we're located here in Layton, Utah.
Awesome.
So a little bit about us. We started our company about 11 years ago. And the problem that we're really trying to solve is when someone passes away, everything that that person's life touched needs to be addressed by the family members. And whether Social Security benefits or the home or credit cards, or you name a whole litany of things that need to happen, that family has to go through those next steps. That problem can be really overwhelming for family members. One, they usually don't know what there is to do. And secondly, there's the emotional difficulty of going through it. So if it's okay, I'm going to share a quick story of kind of illustrating how we help families. So I was hiring a new employee, 22-year-old kid, and I'm in the interview, I said, I really want to explain to you what we do and how we do it and why. And he goes, I get it. And I was like, well, you're 22, you probably don't. And he said, no, let me tell you my story. Grew up with my best friend up in Roy, and we were best friends all through elementary, junior high, get to high school. I got really involved with the soccer team. He got really involved in the drug scene. And so he dropped out of school. I went off to college the next year. And one day I got that call that he had accidentally overdosed on drugs and he had passed away. So he comes back from school. He's grieving with the family that's really like his family. He was always over at their house. And he goes and he looks at the kid's bedroom and he's like, hey, can I clean this out? Talking to the mom. Can I clean this out for you so you don't have to deal with it? And she's like, I would really appreciate that. While you do that, I'm going to shut off his cell phone because ever since he passed away, the phone keeps buzzing. And every notification that comes through, I wonder, is that the person who sold my son drugs? And she goes, I don't want to turn it off. I want it shut off. So he's in there cleaning the room. He hears her get on the phone. They call some customer service number. And you've done this before. You call the number, you're sitting on hold. You hope you press all the 1, 3, 4, 6 to get to the right person. Finally, this person comes on the phone, Verizon Wireless, how can I help you? Well, now you have a situation where you have a grieving mother trying to deal in a business scenario. And it's like oil and water. So she's like, my son died and I need to shut off his cell phone. And the other person on the phone obviously feels awkward. Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened? Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm not really qualified for this. Let me transfer you to my supervisor. So you're going to transfer to the supervisor. Verizon Wireless, how can I help you? My son died. I need to turn off this line. You're actually in the wrong department. Let me transfer you. Long story short, over an hour of talking to people, she didn't get anywhere. She didn't get it turned off. She didn't get the right people. They were going to email her some forms, and she hangs up the phone in just total frustration. And he said, I kind of popped my head around the corner from cleaning this kid's room. And he's like, if I could see someone melt, that's what this poor mother did. And he's like, nobody should have to go through that. And so back to my interview, I was like, okay, yeah, you get it. Nobody's really sure what to do on those next steps. And nobody should have to go through that process of trying to notify all these strangers and business accounts. And who do I call? Am I giving the right information to someone? Am I giving it to the wrong person who's going to then use this for fraud? What's going to happen there? So what we are is we are a concierge service. that helps the family, one, figure out what needs to be done on the non-legal side of things. Two, helps them make all the notifications for all the businesses and government entities that need to be notified. And then the third step is when these families need other professional services like attorneys, like a good real estate agent, like a financial planner to help, or a tax advisor to close things out, we get them to good, trusted professionals that are going to help them. We will help the family determine if they need legal help or they need that professional help or not, and then get them there. But what we can do without that professional help is make all those notifications, figure out what there is to do, close out accounts, set up fraud protection, make, paperwork, whatever needs to happen for that family to kind of get through those first steps of closing out their loved one's estate.
Yeah, the non-legal services, your story reminds me of one I had really early on where I spoke to a father who was personal representative, and he lived in Minnesota. His son got in a car accident and passed away.
Yep.
And the biggest trouble they had was closing Netflix and Robin.
Oh, yeah. Both of
The
them.
and he had already retained the services of some attorney, I don't remember who at the time right now, but he was like the attorney is doing it, and this attorney was just charging
Oh,
every time they called,
right.
which I don't think not everyone necessarily knows that, that could be anywhere from 250, $350 an hour. Yeah. But it's also it is a lot of time and it's kind of a pain. You probably have systems and ways and contacts at a lot of companies now, but I mean, this has gotta be expensive for a family, right? Or is this a good what is the price like for something like this?
So what we say on our website is $4.99 for a family, and this will include everything we do. But the truth of the matter is the reason why that's there is because we have some partners on the East Coast who are selling it at that price. And so they asked us to update it. Reality, if a family comes to us directly, we're going to be about $250 to $300, depending on what they have to do. We also work with businesses like funeral homes and hospices. So there's several hospices here in Utah that provide our service to their families for free. And some funeral homes, Larkin, for example, down in Salt Lake, they provide our service to every single one of their families for free. So a lot of times we'll do that. And if they're in those areas or if they're working with those people, then we'll often direct them, hey, if you use this funeral home or this hospice, then you get our services as well.
It's this part when you talk about the non-legal, and again, I wanna point this out because a lot of this comes up on my YouTube channel, is people think after there's been a death, the funeral home just takes care of stuff or, "Oh, the attorney will," and
Right.
it's just not the case. I
No.
mean, I've had to come in and do some of the stuff you've done because the real estate agent can be the whipping boy for families,
Sure.
so that's why I started my own brokerage and I have the estate sale company. I'm a bit more diversified, but the reality is, and I had made a comment earlier, this is not expensive at all. This is and I will say a damn good deal for the hell that you guys are taking out of people's lives because these corporations do not care that someone passed away. They want their money and they will, especially the subscription based companies, like we mentioned, one earlier, they have no incentive to close these accounts out because they can just keep hitting that account over and over again. And well, if you shut off the account, well, that doesn't stop them. They'll send the state to collections. And maybe if there's real property, somehow there's some companies that could put a lien on it. I don't think Netflix is going to do that. But
Right.
it is a overlooked service that again, even most attorneys do not consider who work in estate planning and in probate, wills, and trust. It is shocking, actually.
It really is. We've actually, it's been crazy how many attorneys have started approaching us as they found out about our service. And they're like, you're doing the things that families want us to do, but we don't want to get into. And a good attorney says, I don't want to charge families by the hour to do what you
Mhm.
guys do on that side of things. And even things that families don't realize. So I'll share a crazy statistic with you, but a few years ago, Social Security was audited and they looked at widows who should have received an increased Social Security benefit when their spouse passed away. And what percentage of them were receiving their full benefit? What percentage do you think it was?
Oh, I
You might
bet you
already
it's
know.
like 23%.
This is the federal government. Come on, have some faith.
What's the number?
It's 18%.
Oh, I was close.
You were
I was
dang
close.
close, actually. So yeah, 18% were receiving their full benefits. 82% were underpaid in some way, right? They either had
Mm.
claimed it wrong or they hadn't claimed it at all. And a lot of that, hey, I love the people in the funeral homes, but when they're taught, what they're taught is, hey, don't worry about Social Security, we'll notify them. And they do. But that doesn't deal with the benefit side of things. So linking work records and knowing how to do that and when to do that is you need someone to help you with that. And most attorneys don't do that either. And so just that one piece of getting underpaid for the rest of your life, it's worth it to have someone to make sure you're getting all your benefits both from government and then closing out the pension and the credit card and the Netflix account and all those different.
What about life insurance? Do you guys look into that as well?
Yeah, and in fact, we partnered with a company, so we will help with the whole claim process on life insurance, and we can do some searching with life insurance. Life insurance is not in a national database, so if you have no idea what company it is, it some of the life insurance companies have come together and made a database that you can search in, or you can request records. Hey, does my dad have a policy through this? But if it's one of the outside companies, there's no way of knowing. So make sure if you have life insurance policy, make sure you leave your kids a clear instructions on what that is and where that is. But we even partnered with a company. We found this the first time this happened. I had a high school friend whose mom passed away, and she called me and she said, "Hey, I know you do this. Can you help me with, closing all these accounts?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I need that life insurance right now." And I was like, "Well, it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks once the claim is in for them to pay that out." And she goes, "Well, the funeral home won't pay for the funeral. And I have to fly family in and we have all these expenses. How am I supposed to pay for all that?" And so I went out there and looked and found a company that will actually allow them to assign some of the life insurance funds, pay for all that stuff there. It's a
Mhm.
4% fee where they can get that now while they wait those, 1 to 2 months for the life insurance money to come in. And then they get paid back first and then you get paid the rest of it. And they can get their money in 24 hours. So yeah, life insurance is a big deal. And then knowing how to claim that and when to claim it, and if you need it upfront or if you can wait, it's all part of it.
I don't know if this is exactly a question, maybe it is, but it some of the stuff you're talking about makes me think sometimes when I've consulted with families after the death, we talk about how do you prevent this from happening in your family again? Where especially if there's a probate. And one of the things we push is for people to have a binder where there's a password page. You put in like the will, you put in any trust documents. If there is life insurance, policy paperwork, you put it in there. All of that stuff. If there's a funeral plan, you put it in there. Now, of course, my info's on it, so it's advertisement. To be clear,
Sure.
if no one's smart enough to figure that out,
Sure.
that we're in business, but at the same time, oh my goodness, does it make life so much easier for families when all that stuff's just in one folder.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it together, take some time to write down instructions, something along those lines. I know there's a lot of companies out there that do this. There's Knockbox, there's uh, Dex, Dex something. Anyway, and all of them are great. Anytime we have a client who has that, as long as the family's gone through that, the worst thing that happens is if they go and they get a binder like that, they put it in the drawer and they never fill anything out, and then the family's just as lost as before. But
Yeah.
take a Sunday afternoon and put your information together, update it once a year, and it will be such an amazing thing for the family. The other piece on that is if you have a trust, please verify that the trust is funded
Mhm.
because that is the saddest thing we run into all the time. Well, we have a trust. Yes, but you didn't move the assets into the name of the trust. And so probate is now triggered.
Mhm.
You went through all this work and expense to create a trust, and now it's worth basically nothing. It would be so much easier if you didn't have to go to probate.
Mhm.
And that's what the trust was designed for. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's, unfortunate when I've seen people have to go through probate because some, life insurance policy wasn't in the trust, so it still had to go through probate for the estate because it was tied into the estate, so sometimes there's oversights like that, or they went and bought a rental property and never did anything with it. So that's a
Right.
problem too. Or out of
Uh,
state properties that comes up a lot.
Another thing I would suggest putting in a binder if you're going to put your stuff together. So we had a situation with a family here in, I think they were in Layton, actually. And, you know, mom had already passed away, but dad just passed away. And so they went and started cleaning out the house. And these four siblings start fighting over the personal property, right? So there is one company I totally recommend. It's called My Nemu. It helps you divide personal property. These two brothers were like at each other's throats over dad's shotguns. And they were like full on going at it. The whole family relationship was falling apart over just a few personal items. The dad had actually put together a folder of all of his information. And in it, he wrote a couple little notes that made the total difference in the world. He just gave an emotional reason for a few items for each kid. He didn't do it for every item he owned, but he's like, for my son, Tommy, I want you to have my shotgun because I remember that morning waking up early, going duck hunting together. And we just sat there and talked, and I just felt so connected to you. And, had this little story there. And then, but I want the car to go to Robbie because I remember we were working on that car together and like I just really felt about and he had a little story of one or two items for each of his kids. And if you can do that as a parent, I can't tell you. I've seen it time and time again where there's some reason, something for them to connect to you on emotional, because nobody really cares about the personal property, right? It's really not worth anything, but they're wanting personal property because they want to feel connected to mom and
Yeah.
dad, right? And so, hey, I got this statue from my dad. He was a big golfer and he had it on his desk and I got it and I love it. It's not worth anything except for makes me feel connected to my dad. So if you can get all the minutia in there, the legal stuff, the trust documents, everything that you mentioned, Stephen was right on. Put a couple little emotional items in there too. It's what a gift to your family.
Yeah, and I mean, anyone listening to this, like, you don't even necessarily have to buy one. You can just do this yourself.
Right.
Go to Walmart or Harvest Depot, whatever, Amazon, buy the binder and just print off stuff. It's not rocket science. I know when we've met in person, you mentioned, I think it's 37 states that you guys operate in.
Yeah, I think we're actually at 39 now.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So see, even
Yeah.
bigger.
Yep, and we're helping we have about 18 to 9 so with our funeral home lawyers and hospices, we have about 1,900 families that are sent to us every month, plus people coming on their own. So, yeah, we're helping a lot of families. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of different situations, and
Mhm.
even if you don't need our services, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call and we can kind of point you in the right direction.
How do people find you?
Yeah, so the company is full-circlecare.com. And you can search that on any social media or Facebook or LinkedIn. You'll find me, and you can send me an email directly, Matt at full-circlecare.com.
Awesome. Hey, Matt, I appreciate you coming on the YouTube channel. Of course, we're going to chat for just 1 minute or so once the recording stops. But, folks, if you have any questions, of course, please reach out to them, like as he suggested. If you have any questions or comments, of course, you can comment below here on the video. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. But again, thank you so much. Until next time, see you later.
See ya.